Welcome to another episode of the Kickaball podcast. I'll be your host, Colin Freeman, for today. Today I'm going live with Sam Henneberg of Select Generation. Sam also played at the University of New Hampshire and Catawba College during his time. He's originally from the UK, and he also played for the NC Fusion and the USL2. And the year he played with NC Fusion, they went to the USL2 National Championship. For those of you that don't know, Select Generation is a program that helps college players go to a college in the U.S. or go abroad to an academy or do a gap year program overseas. So, going to be a really good interview. Just going to invite Sam on right now, and we'll go from there. Well, Sam, can you hear me?
Hey Colin, how's it going, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yeah, sorry about the little bit of delay of late night practice, but well,
Cool, man. Cool. So who are you playing for?
I'm playing for Flatirons Rush in the Mountain Conference this year.
Yeah, right. Which city is that in?
It's right. We're technically in Denver, but we're just right outside.
Yeah, right. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I mean, we haven't done an interview like this so far, but I mean, I think we'll start it off. I'd love to get to know a little bit about you. Obviously, your background is really interesting in that obviously you had a really successful college career. We'll get into the question like that, but tell the audience a little bit about your background. I think it's really interesting, especially because of the fact that a lot of the players that play at level like you did in the UK and a big time academy, and that didn't really seem to be the case for you.
Yeah, man. So yeah, my name's Sam Henneberg. I'm currently living in the Bay Area in California. So as you can probably tell, I'm originally from England, just outside of London, and I went to college at a Division II school in North Carolina, Catawba College. So I played 3 years there. I then transferred to the University of New Hampshire to do my master's. So I did an undergrad in economics, and then I did a MBA, and then throughout my college, I was playing in the USL2. So I played in 2019 for NC Fusion. That was my first year. And then COVID summer, didn't play, was supposed to go to Flint City Bucks. And then 2021, I played for NC Fusion again when we got to the USL2 national final against Des Moines. And then now I'm playing in the MPSL for Napa Valley 1839. So yeah, a little bit about my playing history.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you're underselling specific parts there quite a bit, but I want to get what ultimately probably inspired a lot of the Select Generation, and that how you ended up in the U.S. I mean, you came through placement program and stuff like that, but what was your process in the US, and when did you ultimately decide the U.S. was the best option for you? Because I mean, if you don't grow up in the U.S., how to get there?
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. So I was born in New York City. I was born in Manhattan. So when I was about 2 or 3 years old, my parents decided to go back home to England. So they were both working in the city, both from England. So sort of when I was growing up, I never played for like a big time academy. I was never like sort of chasing that dream, but I knew that I wanted to study, I wanted to continue playing football, and I wanted to travel. So when I was getting to like 15, 16, I was thinking about university and my options. And then my mum and my dad were always like, you have a US passport. If you ever want to go there, that could be an option for you. We started looking into scholarships and how it all works. And then we came across like a recruitment advisory service. So, you know, from England, you have no idea where you're going. You could be going to like UCLA, or I could be going to my Division II school in North Carolina. I would have thought it was the same. So the recruitment service basically helped me with my video. They put me in contact with a load of coaches. I was trying to sort of talk to coaches on my own, but they only really work with the people they trust, and the people that they know send them good players. So I basically signed up for a service. They helped me. They connected me with some coaches, and then that's sort of my story. Yeah, I never really played for like a big time academy. I was never picked up by anyone, but I know I wanted to travel, get an education, and play football. So wanted to come to the US and kind of do all that.
Yeah, I think that's a similar pathway to what a lot of guys want to do, and I think it's a very mature approach from a young age, to realize what maybe that it might the route that a lot of people take getting into the academy and trying to get to the next level, just the best position for you. Something I'm curious to you said, Jeff, was you had no idea where you were necessarily going to school, and other talk to similar route of he might sell you them, you have no idea what LA or small middle of nowhere. What was kind of your experience like when you first got to the US and understood the system better? And did you have any regrets or towards the agency there not giving you kind of an accurate representation of what's going on?
Yeah, I think I mean, I was like 17, I think 17, 18 when I committed to my college, and yeah, I didn't do enough research at all. Like I was basically just relying on this service to kind of do it all for me, which they did. But um, I could have, like I said, you have when you're an international, you have this big picture of America like it is in the movies, like crazy, like big parties. The athletics are like crazy facilities, like you see all the movies, or like what's the Netflix series, Last Chance, where the facilities are crazy. There's full-time coaches and all of that, and then yeah, the first week or two was, I remember like me and my roommate Tom, I got to our room and I didn't know I was going to be sharing a room, like having a roommate. I thought we would have like a suite or something because at home in England, everyone gets their own room. So, that was like the big first shock. But yeah, like it was definitely an adjustment, like being in a small, tiny city in North Carolina. Took some getting used to, but yeah, I think like now when I'm talking to players and trying to sort of help set them up with where they want to go, I'd tell them make sure you do your research, make sure you know what you're going, because I think I had like two phone calls with the head coach. The first one was like, "Hey, here's a look at the field, getting to know about you," and then the second one was like, "Right, this is the scholarship, this is the offer." So I think what sort of advice I'd give to my younger self would be, find your teammates, find teammates on the roster, text them, call them, find out more about like the school, how the academics are, talk to your teammates and figure it out. But yeah, no, definitely no regrets. But yeah, I think in hindsight, I definitely would have done a bit more research and kind of figured out sort of where I was going, so it wasn't as much of a shock when I got there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you have a good perspective on it, and that you grow. You have no, but I mean, also this time, I mean, you learn from it and clear it. I'm also a little bit curious now, and it's not that rare, especially for a national player, of once you finish your time at your first school. But what was kind of your making that next step and staying in the U.S. to go to UNH and do your master's degree here? Because I mean, I think it's a mixed bag when you see international after they finish their 4 year or their bachelor's, whether they might go like next, try in your case to go to the next level, improve yourself in an environment, and also further your education.
Yeah, man. So it all came about basically. I'd never played soccer like every day. Like when I was back home, I was playing like two, three times a week. Like I was playing at a really good level, don't get me wrong, but it was never like full-time football. So then I came to the US freshman year, practicing every day, 2 games a week. And then, I improved a lot my freshman year. I think I got the most minutes on the team as a freshman. And then I started to think like sophomore year, like, all right, well, I want to continue playing. And then there was, I found out more about the USL and how that works. And then in the summer, like usually all my friends would go home. Like my freshman year, I went home, saw my family, saw my friends, had a really good time. But then sophomore year, I wanted to stay and play. So USL 2, it was funny how it came about because my Division 2 school, I think in my sophomore year, we had 10 conference games. We didn't win a single one. We were last in the conference. And then that summer I ended up going to like the conference final for USL 2. I had like Wake Forest players on my team. I think I was the only Division 2 player, bar one or two in the starting 11. So, um, yeah, like I knew I kind of wanted to play in the summer, and the coach for Coca College, Chris Williams, he just got the job at NC Fusion. So I basically reached out to him and said, "Hey, coach, like I wanna come and play for you in the summer. Is there any possibility?" They didn't have any host families, didn't have any housing, so I was driving from school for like an hour. But I made it work, and I wanted to play in the summer, and then from that first summer is basically how I got a lot of film. I was playing at a really good level. I was like networking. In the USL 2, you play with the guys from the NAA, from junior college, from Division 2, 3, Division 1. So I kind of was networking, and then, playing. That was like one of the best summers I had. We were winning a lot, making a load of new friends, and then yeah, basically passed on the film, passed on that level, got a good reference off the coach to go to New Hampshire. I had an extra year of eligibility, and he basically knew that NC Fusion in the USL 2 was a good level, even if my college maybe wasn't, and sort of got that reference to go and transfer to play at Division 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the route is, what a lot of Division 2 school and NAI want from the. I mean, I think you're a role model in that sense that you're playing with some of these big time schools in the sense. You also, I mean, your school wasn't at a bad Division 2, but I mean, it wasn't necessarily something that might jump out at you. And the best you had, I think, is a lot of what a lot of players in the USL 2 what they hope for level. But curious, when you got to that experience with then your first experience, how did it shape the rest of your ultimately kind of shape what you're doing?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was massive for me. Like I remember I was talking to. It's funny because if I didn't play at University of New Hampshire, I probably would have gone to a Division 3 school. Like I had no other offers other than that one, and that one was like top 10 school in the country. So um, yeah, I mean, going there was like one of the best experiences of my life in terms of on the field and off the field. Like going to a really good academic school, a big school that was like a completely different scene. And I just remember like on the first day of preseason going into the locker room, right? So at my Division 2 school, we had to pay for our travel gear, we had to pay for our kit, like $150 or something. I remember not getting the shoes because I was like, I'm not paying $80 for a pair of travel shoes. But yeah, and then I went to the first day of preseason at UNH, and you got given these cleats and flip flops and these hoodies and tracksuit. And I remember like the person next to me was, "Oh, coach, like, can I get a new pair? Like these shoes, they're half a size too small." And I was just thinking to myself, like, you don't know how lucky you are, but nah, like it was really enjoyable for me. That kind of like brought my US experience to life. Like my Division 2, to be honest, I didn't really enjoy my time there. Freshman year was fun because it was a new experience. Was making new friends, but then my last couple of years, it was like we were losing a lot. I came to the US for football, and then the program wasn't great, um, and a couple of other things. But yeah, going to UNH was like playing football. I think our last year we averaged like 2,000 fans a home game. We beat University of North Carolina at home like 4-0 in front of 4 or 5 thousand fans, and just like the community, the student community, a massive campus, and like traveling, like flying to games, hotels for games. That was really cool. But yeah, definitely changed my perspective about sort of college soccer, how it works, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, you mentioned there, how it kind of changed your perspective. You kind of try to pursue pro opportunities. Ultimately, unfortunately, it didn't work out. But I think what you've been saying led into the next life and starting, select generation and just your overall experience, like you said, of college soccer and the respective. I think probably, if you could you tell us how you started select generation?
Yeah,
Also, just talk.
yeah, for sure. So like I said, when I came to the US, I basically got everything done for me. However, I didn't really research, and I was kind of a bit blind going in, where it was all kind of done for me. And so, I obviously met a lot of domestic players, a lot of American boys who, they didn't really understand any rules or any NCAA rules or eligibility or SAT or FAFSA, and they're basically just depending on college coaches coming to their showcases or coming to their games to then get offers to go and play at college. So I was playing I was playing for a team in Charlotte in North Carolina, a UPSL team, and we were playing like with some 17, 18-year-olds ready to go to college, and they were just asking questions like, "Oh yeah, but yeah, they were asking questions like, oh, but am I eligible if I've took this class? Or, oh, but this coach, I messaged him my highlight video, but he never replied. Like, I went to this ID camp, but he didn't say anything." And I was just thinking to myself, like, does your club coach not tell you any of this? Like, why are they not helping you? Like, their job obviously is to coach a club team, but is it not to sort of help you go to college? Like, is that not what you're paying for? Because the club fees are, crazy. And then I was just thinking to myself, like, if I can sort of facilitate some of these college placements, like with my friends, and sort of give questions and just be a resource, like it started off basically just being a resource. So I set up a showcase in Charlotte. I basically invited a bunch of colleges to come to a game, put on a field. Um, and then from there, like some of the players were getting offers, were getting calls from these coaches. And then it kind of just growed from there, really. Like I knew that there was a bit of a gap in terms of players want. There's a lot of players that want to play college soccer, but there's a lot of players that don't know how it works. So I just want to be a resource to basically answer questions and get people to where they need to be. And there was a big stigma too, like talking about my journey and sort of how I ended up going from a Division 2 to one of the best schools in the country. Like there was a lot of kids that were like to me, "No, I just want to go Division 1," and I'm thinking it's May already. Like, do you think a Division 1's going to pick you up for August? Like, why are you so against Division 2, Division 3? Like, we for New Hampshire played against, I could count on two hands the amount of schools that there was Division 2 schools in my conference that would have beat, I mean, from Franklin Pierce winning the national championship, like, you can, there's such this stigma around, oh, I have to go Division 1, which is completely false. But yeah, anyway, we started this basically because we just wanted to be a resource. We knew that it's really expensive to go to college in terms of getting sort of getting promoted and getting connected with coaches, and we don't want to be that. So, I have a full-time job, work in the Bay Area, and this is just a hobby for me. So, I have a lot of college coaches asking me for players. We go to some showcase tournaments to kind of pick up good players and pass on to our coaches. And like it's fun. Like I enjoy helping. It started off with my friends, and now people are asking us for help. Oh, I want to go to this school. I don't have the coach's number, or I need help with my highlight video, right? So I basically put myself in the kids or the athletes' shoes when I was 17, 16, and think like, what did I need at that age? How can I help them? So yeah, it's basically just trying to give opportunities to these players, and there's a lot of talent. Soccer's growing massively, and we're trying to help that. So that's just a bit about us.
Yeah, I mean, so much take everything you said. I think one thing you said, your point is, I think so many people perceive because college soccer is less everyone is, and ultimately there's only a select handful that do, and a lot of coaches, like you said, at the club level, don't doing, and at least a lot of players falling through the cracks. What you said, really good. A lot of players, rely on these coaches to showcase. So you message like, how is the coach supposed to know anything? And I think one thing I'm really excited about is how you basically start from scratch and how originally you got these coaches to even come to this. Because, I know a lot of coaches, even if an player decides to put on a showcase or says come to, a lot of coaches office, number of showcases, all these ID camps. So how did you originally convince these coaches even to come out?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So, I like to think I'm a good person, and sort of the networks or the connections that I've made, people respect me and like me. So, I'd worked with a load of coaches before, sort of talking to them when I was training. Just from events or like USL2 when I was playing with a load of players. My friends had been assistants and whatnot. And we saw that there's a lot of camps in the summer. There's a lot of ID camps in the spring, but in the fall there's nothing because the coaches are so busy. They're busy with the 2 games a week and whatnot. So But at the same time, the coaches want to recruit in the fall, but they don't have a lot of time. So they don't have time to go to this high school game or this club game or this showcase event. You know, they've got video to do, they've got a scout report to do, they've got, you know, training sessions to run. So we thought, how can we make the players' life easier from getting them some exposure to the coaches, and how can we make the coaches' life easier by bringing them good players in the fall when they don't have time to go and recruit? So we thought, you know what, like let's just set up a game on a Sunday in Charlotte. There's a lot of soccer going on in Charlotte. Let's invite some coaches. We'll say, you know, we'll send you a list of good players. We'll make sure they're of good quality, you know, and it will be a professionally run event. You know, it'll be organised and whatnot. And they were like, yeah, you know, this is a good idea. It's a Sunday. I'll come for a couple of hours. You know, there's a lot of schools in the Charlotte area. And then basically the hard work was trying to convince players to come and sign up and come and play in the game. But, you know, it all worked, and you know, we've grown pretty fast, but, you know, we're enjoying it, and just happy to help the guys.
Yeah. And I think, like you said there, you're going really fast. You know, one of the things, you know, that stood out to me kind of when I was doing your background research is, you know, you look at, you know, because there are placement programs in the U.S. I mean, I'm not going to name them, but they are out there. And, you know, I think the thing that stood out for me about you guys of, you know, ultimately bringing these college coaches, but also making it worth it for the players is that, you know, you guys are very selective in your process. And, you know, how do you make sure that, I mean, obviously, you guys go through a process, but, you know, if you could you tell us about a little bit about is and you know how that's gotten so much success? Because if you look at the rate, you know, and you speak a little bit, I mean, you're a lot of these players in these schools, and these schools too.
Yeah. So kind of what I touched on earlier, like we know that soccer in the US is really expensive, and that's kind of what we want to stay away from. So obviously our camps have a cost. You know, if the coach is like, yeah, I'll come for a fee, or we have to buy the kit, or we have to buy the camera, rent the field, the equipment, you know, there is a cost. But we basically, with our players, you know, we do a lot of sort of starting without anything, just from scratch. You know, we had to do a lot of like Instagram reach outs, right? So we would be on Instagram, we'd be looking for players like, okay, we'll follow Charlotte Independence soccer club or Napa Valley soccer club. Okay, who plays for them? This player's good. Okay, he's got a highlight reel in his video. Let's have a watch. So it was really time consuming. It was tough, but you know, I'd rather put the time in, bring quality players to the event than have 50 players at the event who play rec, or, you know, they don't really, they just want to come and play and sort of get that. So, you know, we like to invite quality players because at the end of the day, you know, we're trying to build something, and we're only going to build something if it's good quality. You know, if coaches come to our showcase and it's rubbish, they're not going to come again, and we're brand new. So that's what we need. So, you know, we have forms on our website where you can input your high school and your club, and, you know, we make sure that we're sort of getting a good level of player, and good players are signing up. And then kind of once it all started going like that, you know, friends talk to friends, and, you know, oh, hey, I went to Select Generation Showcase last month. I got a couple of emails, a couple of offers. You should come too. And then kind of friends of friends and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been tough, to be honest, like at the start, but we're kind of seeing the reward now of commitments and sort of growth, and players trusting us, coaches trusting us. So, you know, yeah, it was tough at the start, but yeah, we're kind of seeing the rewards now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to commend you guys so much because I think, you know, it's so easy program that, you know, gets money from these for trying to help out these kids. I mean, it's so easy to kind of turn into a money grab. I mean, I think that's what you see a lot of the time placement program. The fact that, you know, you guys all did the research at the start and, you know, made it worth, you know, players is a big thing. And, you know, you talked a little bit about how you guys have been growing, and, you know, that's the UC and, you know, the different programs you offer now too. So, I mean, you could tell the audience about, you know, a little bit about these different programs you guys offer now, not just, you know, college placement, you know, that'd be great. And also, so you give us an idea of what forward.
Yeah, it's definitely. So like you said at the start, we basically just wanted to be a resource and help players go to college. I think that was the main goal. That's what we were kind of trying to aid. And then, you know, as we started to grow, players would ask us, "Oh, you're from England?" Or Vic, who I run it with, he's my best friend. He's from Spain. He's from near Madrid. So players were asking us, "Oh, what's it like in England? What's it like in Spain?" and then it kind of just clicked. Like we should be able to offer this too. We want to be able to offer these guys the same thing that we had going abroad to go and play soccer. So then, we got relationships with college coaches. They were trusting us coming to our showcase. Victor went home to Spain for a bit, started talking to his local club, and then basically was talking to his club, hey, like I've got some good quality players in the US. They're coming to our showcases. They want to pursue soccer. Is there a chance that they could come and train with us for a couple of weeks, or is there a program where they can stay in a residency somewhere and come and play for the club? Same with myself in England. We connected with an academy there, and basically, yeah, we just want to be opportunities for these kids. So we just made the connections, and then we basically have these players come to our showcase. We evaluate them, we film it, we send the film to the academies in Europe, and then you say, look, this guy really stood out, and they'll say, okay, I need a winger for next year, or I need a striker for next year. Okay, this guy stood out at the showcase. He's really good. Not only is he a good player, but he's a good person too. Talk to the player, get him on a phone call. The coach is interested in you. What do you think? Are you interested in going abroad? And a lot of the kids, well, not a lot, but some of the kids, I want to stay at home. I want to be at home. I've never been out of the country before. I don't even have a passport. So, it's a lot of connecting and sort of. I think what we try and do differently is we're very personal. I know with a couple of other companies, they want to sort of give you like a college coach, a college mentor who will talk to you once a month, and it's very hard to get a hold of them. But with us, like I said, I've got a full-time job. It's my hobby. Like I have players calling me on my lunch. I have players calling me when I'm driving home from work. Hey Sam, I had this call, or I spoke to the coach from England today. Like, can I tell you how it went? And we're trying to build that personal relationship with the player, and just put them in the right place, really, make them feel like they're at home. So yeah, we have those options to go abroad, which we're really excited about because, like I said, that's kind of how I came to the US. Same with Victor, and yeah, we're just trying to basically give these kids as many opportunities as they can.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that you guys have it is. I'm just curious. You were a player, program, and I didn't necessarily know. How do you guys necessarily evaluate a player? They come in is at this university, even opportunities, or they even not here. How do you guys necessarily, you have a player program, how are you looking? Because I think there's a lot of kids that are routes, and ultimately if they're coming in a program like yours, they're probably relying a lot to walk you through that.
Yeah. So the players, so they're coming to our showcase. We've probably texted with them or whatnot, have given them a call. And they're coming to our showcase. Basically, you know what it's like. I'm sure you went to one. I went to loads, and you're nervous. You're trying to prove something. You're trying to take 100 touches, run the whole length of the field. But what we're looking for really is players that are composed. In terms of on the field, players that are composed, players that do a good job, players that aren't a showcase player, that aren't trying to score 100 goals, that um, sticking to what they're good at. And then the biggest thing for us really is off the field. Like, what are they like? Because I'm sure you've heard like horror stories of players at college who, they were partying the night before a game, or they were smoking this, or they were, had an argument with the coach because they didn't play. So the biggest thing for us, like I said, we're trying to get good quality players, but we're also trying to get the right people. We want to work with athletes that want to work with us, that want to go to college and play soccer, get a degree, and have a good time. So that's another thing when they're coming to our showcases. We're kind of evaluating what they like on the field as a teammate. Um, how are they talking? Are they encouraging? Are they getting annoyed if you don't pass them the ball? After the game, if they've played well, we'll chat to them on the side. Hey, are you talking to any colleges? Like, what's your process? How are you doing? Get to know them, sort of feel them out a bit. And basically, yeah, we just want to, like I said, work with good quality players. We want to pass on players that will have good calls with coaches. So yeah, it's a lot of it goes two ways really. You need to be a good player, but you need to be a good person too. We want to work with players that are determined, that are driven, and that are just good people, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think all those are very And, another thing that I'm interested in kind of your, broad gap year programs, you guys also go to school out there. You look at some other programs out there that don't necessarily go to school yet. Always, I think the end goal, like you said, is basic, the possibly could. So how do you guys pull that off? And what does that look like for a player out there? I think, a lot of players are going abroad and a gap year, football studies. So kind of how does that look? And do you have a team out there? School? What does it look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't really like to call it a gap year because a gap year is kind of like you're losing time, in my opinion. We want to see it like as a player go, progress, have a good time. So, in terms of studies, it is a little bit harder with the visa situation, and kind of getting enrolled in classes, especially in Spain if you don't speak Spanish. So, um, you know, like I said, we've partnered with a couple of academies that do the program really well, that know what they're talking about, and that offer to student athletes what student athletes want. We're pretty transparent. If you want to go and take classes, you definitely can. It is a little bit tricky in terms of the onboarding, like I said, with the visa and whatnot. But we trust our programs. And we make sure we do our homework in terms of what does the player want to study. Can they study this class in Spanish? Are they going to have a good enough Spanish level? Okay. Do you want to go to England? If you want to go to England and study sports management, okay, that's like a course that's pretty easy to get on. But if you want to study maths or accounting or finance, it might be a bit trickier. So there's definitely stuff with the visa that can not be so smooth, but like I said, we're a personal service. We really like to take care of the player, make sure they get what they want, and at the end of the day, we try to offer what we offer to players domestically too, so they can compare them both equally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think both are so important. And shifting gear a little bit, you guys also have development in the U.S. So, guys another opportunity and eventually try to find the school. And curious, what is that kind of, what structure is this team playing in? And how does that look like? Because I know that's a service that's a little bit new. There's it occurs a little bit throughout the U.S., but it's not a lot of players to look for in the U.S. They look to go to that, but the western part of the United States that I've heard of.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a specific academy or club, but basically over Christmas, I was talking to Victor and I was like, you know what, we probably had like 100 players in the Charlotte area, and in the spring, some of them don't play club or they don't play high school, they got a bit more time. I was playing in the UPSL at the time and I was just thinking like, why don't we set up a team of 15 players and we'll go and scrimmage against 3 colleges and 3 UPSL teams? Because we had a load of players asking us, "Hey, when's the next showcase? When's the next showcase? When's the next showcase?" And we were running one, but I can't make it, or they were busy. So we thought, colleges are in the spring playing friendlies, playing scrimmages. Some colleges have JV teams; they can't get a game. So we kind of sort of texted a load of our players, "Would you be interested? Is this something you think you'd be interested in?" And basically just went ahead and booked a few fields. We booked training sessions. We got the Gardner Webb and the Limestone assistant coaches, and it was very proactive. It kind of just happened. It was very quick, and it turned out really well. I think we went and played Erskine on like a Wednesday, and then on Monday, Fedor, one of our players, had got an offer, a scholarship there. So that's kind of what we're designed for. Like I said, I think it was $150 to sign up for a 6-week program, 2 sessions a week. You played 6 games against colleges and UPSL teams. Like that's totally what we're about, full kit. Really good coaching sessions from D1 and Division 2. So, that's what we're about really. Like I said, giving opportunities to these kids, and it turned out really well. I think we're going to try and run one again this spring. It's not like a registered team, or it's not like specifically in a league like ECNL or DA or MLS Next, whatever like that. It's kind of just, we're going to put on this team, we're going to set up some games. You should come and play because you're going to be right in front of college coaches and getting better. So that's kind of what that was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really proactive from you guys because, a lot of players have the opportunity to play against each other. And ultimately, I think people don't realize, but a lot of teams have game opportunities out there. I mean, I think a lot of college searching for, games in the spring. And a lot of these schools, they're not getting any games in the spring. So it's very proactive of you guys, and I think it provides a good opportunity for a lot of these guys, exposure to college coaches, but also just exposure level. I think, playing against, guys that are older than that, or above them, what level they need, or, how close they might be.
Yeah, definitely. I think we wanted to kind of help the players that maybe came to the showcase and didn't play so well, didn't get a lot of minutes, or just didn't get a good time, or just didn't play very well. Throw them in at the deep end. All right, you didn't play well at the showcase, but you want to play Division Two soccer or Division Three soccer. Okay, we're going to put you against that team. Go and see how you do, and you might not do very well again, and you don't want to play college soccer. That's totally fine. We've had some players that have come to the showcase and gone, yeah, it's not for me. That's perfect because now they know what they want to do next. Or some players who didn't play well at the showcase come to the showcase, play really well. They're more motivated. They, feel really good about themselves. They're happy and they go home and they're buzzing. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. I'd have loved to have done that, and the coaches see them right where they are. They can chat to them, make them offers. So yeah, I think we'll try and we'll definitely do one again in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hopefully in California where I am, and maybe in Boston too.
Yeah, definitely. I think, having also, like you said, different locations for it is great. But I think, myself as a player also would have loved that. And, shifting gears a little bit here, I had some questions for myself and kind of, how my processing got to what I point, comparable to yours. And, would, if, could go back and do it over, I think service like yours might have benefited me as well.
Yeah, for sure. Because so now you're at Franklin Pierce. So I'm interested. You're at Franklin Pierce now. I'm not sure if you were there, but we played against you a couple of years ago in pre-season. But talk to us a little bit about going from like your gap year, why you why you ended up there. Like, what's your journey? Transferring again, like for you, you wanted to play college soccer. You had it in your mind. You were never kind of set on. You knew this was the place you wanted to be. Like, talk to us a little bit about you. Like, why you are where you're at now, versus where you thought you should have been back, like high school year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so going all the way back, I mean, similar to you, and that, I had, a couple of academies out here where I'm from, but never quite broke. I was getting some interest in schools and Division One schools. Academics was a very big part of my family, but kind of materialized, and I was right in COVID, which is obviously a lot of players can say it was a very difficult time in the U.S. And I kind of had an opportunity to first go abroad down in Costa Rica, and that was a big eye-opening experience for me. It was really away from home and trying to kind of buy a professional setup. I was training every single day, and there's some questions about the personality of it. There's things, but it kind of gave me a taste if I continue want to play at the next level, which is what I kind of did with college soccer. And also went back home and finished my time out in the States, going to school, but materialized, and kind of through a connection I had, I was able to go back over Spain, and I was able to go through a program in Spain that was an agency. It had sent a lot of players back to the U.S., but also provided American players to continue playing and hopefully school. And I went over there and enjoyed my time there, and was doing well enough, and had interest from schools and everything like that. But I kind of got to the point to make a decision. I still didn't necessarily have the greatest idea of what I wanted to do, and I had some interest from schools at one level, but I ultimately decided to go to the highest level school I could, and that was Franklin Pierce. And I was also very naive, I'll admit. Going there, I thought this is a Division II school. I didn't necessarily realize the level, and I got there, and I mean, obviously we had an unbelievable team. I mean, it was probably the best team, easily team I've part of, and some of the best players I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, I went there and enjoyed my time there immensely, and kind of just got to the end of the season at Franklin, and I really enjoyed the coaching staff and all the soccer part of it there. But I went to the school I'd never before, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. particularly what I envisioned, going to a university. And, I kind of just wanted to see what my options were at the end of the year. I mean, I enjoyed my time a lot, but I knew big coming. And, I was fortunate enough that my coach at the time had left to go to Brian. I added the photo. He had showed some interest in Brian University. So I talked, and I kind of figured out that what I wanted to decided that was what I was going to do. So, I mean, I'll be going to Brian. In the meantime, I went back, was able to play a little bit, kind of my journey and how I got to simplify version.
Yeah, man. No, that's awesome. I think, to be honest, I've never met someone in college soccer who was like, yeah, went to my dream school, played freshman year, played sophomore year, junior, senior year, and I had a really good time, Like everyone's got a story where, this happened or they got injured or I wasn't playing or the coach got fired. Like it's never easy for anyone. And I think it really just builds character, to be fair. Like after college, everyone's like, I had a really good 4 years, but it's because, some tough things happened and like you said, you didn't do a lot of research. I didn't do a lot of research. Like that's kind of what we're trying to do is make sure everyone knows where they're going and they're well prepped because there are a lot of shocks. Like yourself, you transferred after your first year. So no, I totally get that, and I think to be fair, like it just makes you really stronger. And like for me, my 3 years I didn't really enjoy them, but I just got through it and I enjoyed my time a lot more after.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, in my, I think I also, like you said, I didn't do a lot of research, what you're trying to do. And I think I'll preface it, just being aware of where you're going because ultimately I transferred, worked out. I mean, I don't necessarily advise that. I mean, teammates of mine and behind that I was, they, out for them, it could work out, could not work out well. A ton of players soccer, and be happy. I just want to say I wasn't not Pierce. I just think, there was another option in my way that worked. I mean, what you're really trying to say is, yeah, do your research. Really look at the school and look at everything about it because you don't want to put yourself there. You're also not happy because, I mean, it's extremely difficult to perform on happy with your life, but also you don't where you're constantly having to leave or not enjoying your time. College should be in a lot of ways.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. But no, I know it's probably hard to enjoy your life when you're a Liverpool fan back there, no?
At times, yeah. I mean, obviously I know you're a Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, difficult time. Getting better. Had some good years in recent times, but I mean, not difficult. But I mean, I know most of being a Chelsea.
I know. It's tough at the moment, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get better soon.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, very active in the transfer market, so we'll see what happens.
Of course, man. But anyway, I'm gonna go and watch the girls now, Cully. But thanks for your time, mate. Really enjoyed that. That was good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I mean, I know you help a lot of people out because I mean, I think that definitely I would enjoy it in my time. I want to spread this as much as I can. Players in the state, could use this regardless of this out of the good year. But your heart, you like out of it. It's just really a side hobby for you. So I thank you for that so much.
Nah, for sure, man. And I love the pod. We started a pod. I think we're on like episode 6 or 7. Just basically trying to just chat and talk to people and get their feedback. So, nah, it's sick, mate. I think you're on like episode what 54, 53. So
yeah, something like that. And yeah, I definitely want to give that's a shout out too because I've watched. I think what you're doing. I'll add that in as well. But yeah, I mean, I really as well. And really good talking to you as well.
Legend, Cully. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, definitely. You too. And let's keep.
Yeah, man. Have a good night. All right.
Have a good night. Bye.